Yeah, that's exactly what you saw in the title. My friends have an architectural practice, it's called Homo Arquitetos, and they invited me to partner up with them as an architect to join this really important architecture competition. The results just came out and we got 3rd place. So this was a professional competition at a national level here in Brazil. It was organized by a private company that wanted to do some real estate development of apartment buildings. And instead of them just hiring a firm to do it, they opened to all firms in Brazil to join. More than 100 offices entered, and some of them are quite renowned. They just announced the winners this past Saturday, and in this video I'm gonna talk about the boards in general and the actual challenge that this competition was. But I'm thinking about making a couple of videos about the competition, one for the boards, which is actually this one, then one for the renderings, maybe another for the actual design process, and how after many tries we finally got to the final design. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. The competition main rules. Okay, so I'll sum up the main things we had to look after so that you understand the bigger picture here. But I'll also add all the other important links in the video description if you want to go in depth on the official document, look at the boards and read the project in full. Or even look what was the price, because the first place is in fact going to be built. Cool, so first, the site had a complex geometry, and based on the urban parameters, we have very little flexibility in terms of locating the constructed mass on the site. 2. The organization wanted that the project maximize the square meters built on the site, which was what the parameters allowed us, close to 10,000 square meters. And 3. They also asked the units to be mixed in size, some larger and some smaller with a set proportion that they gave, plus a few other main factors. And then you add that up with the usual challenges any project has, like getting proper sunlight, cross ventilation, interior layout, possible unit expansion, and many other things. We then had a major puzzle to solve. The process. If I'm not mistaken, we went through 20 options until settling on this one. Lots of hand sketching to figure out the first steps. Then we moved into ArchiCAD to make sure that it actually worked. And as you can see, our files here tell you the truth about the many tries we did. And this process went back and forth with the aid of physical models as well. Rodrigo is the best at making physical models, all handmade, and he's got the right technique. It definitely requires a lot of patience. And then something we think led us to podium on this competition was the fact that Ricardo knows a lot about real estate development, and he really insisted on adding as much storefront area as we could. This street here has lots of commercial features, and we wanted to explore that within the project. Not only that would turn into income for the condo, lowering the monthly fees for residents, but also it would activate its front and be gentle with the city. It's quite common here in Brazil for condos to just add walls and gates around the site perimeter and call it a day for safety. So with the stores, a private ramped access to the residents, and other solutions that we added, we integrated the building with its surroundings and solved the security issue. Here are a couple of hand-drawn diagrams that we added to the boards that sum up some of the things we thought during the project development. Locating what affected the site, then proposed accesses, real estate structure, sun and visuals, site occupation, and vertical occupation. Just a note guys, I could talk about this project for an hour to be honest. There's a lot I could explain here, but I'm trying to deliver enough so that you understand more or less what this project was and its process, so that you take some value out of this video and hopefully it helps you in future competitions. But now let's talk about the good stuff. Boards, drawings and images. Board number 1. Look, unfortunately the organization set the rough layouting of the boards. Personally, I thought that was a major mistake on their part. I understand that if they knew where the information was in every entry, it would facilitate the evaluation process. I do get that, but it feels that a big part of your project in competitions is how you tell the story about it, how you're gonna show the building through drawings, texts, and images, especially in competitions where you cannot really present it in person. So we had 3 A0s in landscape to work with, and in each board, the organization pre-established a set of drawings and information that they wanted there, which also by the scale they asked, left us with very few options of what and where to place other things. For example, they wanted 2 sections right on the first board, plus all the explanation in text and the site plan. That resulted in pretty much this structure that you see here. Not many ways to show different solutions or, for example, bring attention to other parts of the project. A section is too technical. We wanted to place them on the second or even on the third board, honestly. Well, we then managed to also add those conceptual diagrams I showed you before. It helps right off the bat to show our intentions. Then, of course, a big-ass rendering that would be the face of the project. We thought the street corner angle was the most important. However, it didn't show the back building, so we were kinda in a doubt of which image was actually the main one, and you will see that in board number 2. The renderings were done using V-Ray. Although it's not the fastest rendering to meet deadlines, it's the one that I'm most used to, and that I know I can achieve the result I want. I'll leave some links down in the video description on V-Ray if you want to learn more about it. This is not sponsored or anything, but since I use it so often, I applied to their affiliate program, so by clicking on the link, you also support the channel. Boards, drawings, and images, board number 2. Okay, so the second board had the other important image that I mentioned. We did both with the same importance, and then just before submitting the work, we then decided which one was gonna go first. This night scene had a very interesting point of view because, well, on the project we decided for a number of reasons that this wall here needed to be slanted. And one of these reasons was that the back building would also see and be seen from the street. And this rendering shows exactly that. It's quite an interesting relationship that it has created. The point of view was also fine-tuned to show a slit of the background. It helped with the overall composition a lot. It was too cluttered if this front volume here was overlapping the back one. The other renderings showed the apartment from an outside view and the commercial sector and its relationship to the street. One decision that we took was that due to the lack of board space and we were not willing to reduce image sizes, we then decided not to do any interior renderings, as our task was not really to do any interior design, but create a building with a broad and open interior space so that residents could explore that by themselves. And also, we didn't actually have time to do it, but if time wasn't an issue, or space either, then I'm sure we would consider actually adding 1 or 2 renderings from the inside. Technical drawings. As you can see, none of the plans and sections have much to them. The honest answer was that this was quite a huge challenge. We took too much time trying to figure out how to utilize the plot's maximum construction area, match those unit types that they asked, and solve the public and private flows. The submission was until 6 p.m. on July 1st, and we hit send on the website literally with 15 minutes left. Sometimes you gotta take the production schedule into account. Luckily, both Bruno and Rodrigo are really masters at ArchiCAD and they moved fast. I do know ArchiCAD, but not on the level that these guys do. They represented right on ArchiCAD. Well, we really wanted to go further into the representation of these drawings, but we were quite happy that it turned out clean with all the hierarchy and contrast that it needed. Now, these isometrics here, I did not know how to organize them on the board. I had only this little space here and half an hour left, so I just threw them on the board and called it a day. They represent each unit type required by the organization. Just don't look at them too much. I'll totally rethink all the positioning if I had time for sure. Boards, drawings, and images, board number 3. Okay, the final board. Here we planned this huge aerial diagram. It's in isometric view as well. We felt that none of the images or drawings you could really feel the built mass. This is to show that, plus indicate all the solutions and other things we took into account when designing the building. Mainly accesses, the future possible neighbor here, this tree species here that is protected by the city urban department, and we cannot build anything within a radius of 5 meters. So we showed that we also understood this law. And here on this diagram, we also showed that we used this weird site limb to solve the trash and secondary stuff, show that there is option to add solar panels, overall really to understand the real estate development as a whole and see how one thing interacts with the other. More plans that was required, a spreadsheet that they gave the template, and this is so that they could understand all the numbers by a glance and I guess compared to other teams. Then more renderings, and we had a theme for each board. The second board had exterior solutions, facade and stores, and this third one had common areas, the pool and the co-working slash party venue, barbecue space. I don't know how to translate this to English, but this common area here that can be used for parties, I guess. And also, as you can see, we didn't have time to finish one more thing that we wanted to add here that I don't even remember what it was, honestly. So I simply zoomed in on the isometric, and this image has a lot of pixels, so I could focus on the facade solution. And that concludes the 3 boards and a bit of the project as well. I was so excited to finally share this with you. As I said, we submitted the work back in July 1st. Can you believe it? Almost 2 months of waiting? Let me know in the comments below if you wanted to see a breakdown of one of the images I created for this competition, and also which one. And if I should do a 3-part series of this video. There's a lot more I could talk about visualization and representation for competitions. As you know, all the links are in the video description. Go follow Arquitetos on Instagram to learn more about their work. I'll be partnering up with them in the future for sure, not only to visualize their work as I have done in the past, but also to design and join as an architect on the team as I did this time. Thanks a lot to my team, the architects Bruno, Ricardo and Rodrigo, and the intern João. I'm looking forward to joining new competitions in the future with you guys. If you'd like to see me break down another competition, and this one I wanted, you might want to check out this other video here.